Welcome to my channel. If it's your very first time here, please do the right thing. Do the right thing, damn it. Hit the subscribe button. It is absolutely free. I promise. Kumnandi la ekhaya. And as you join, please smash that like button. Or you can double tap on the screen during the live. Once the live is over, you can just hit the like button. So join nani, ntshela abangani benu, ntshela ogogo benu, omkhulu benu, intombi zenu, tshelani wonke umuntu ukuthi zinyasha lana. Oh my goodness, I am so excited. I've been meaning to do this, but I've been so swamped. But yeah, I'm back with another banger. But before we begin, nanamhlanje, even today we have another giveaway. But before I get into that, I first want to give you guys a trigger warning, because we're going to be talking about things that touch a lot of people and affect them directly and even indirectly. And these are sensitive topics, and my heart goes out to any and everyone who is currently living with these chronic illnesses. I wish you all the best. I pray for your health in every sense of the word, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. I hope and pray, Uguti, you thrive. And I need you guys to understand that this is my personality. And I know, Uguti, especially when I'm talking about things that are very, very serious and sensitive, like diseases and death, I gotta tone it down a notch. But like, this is who I am, okay? And no matter what I'm going through, no matter what I've experienced, no matter what is currently happening, this is literally how I am 24/7, 365. And it's something I'm working on, because, hey man, it's something I'm really, really working on. Like just the other day, my husband was telling me, Shushu, you need to learn to show ama emotions amanye outside of being just always positive, super bubbly, always making sure everybody around you is like feeling, leo energy, because sometimes we can't even tell when you're not okay, So I'm really trying to work on that. But like, this is my personality. So what do I do? And I think that's why so many people like so many people think they can get away with a lot, because it takes a really, really long time for me to switch, for you to actually see, I'm mad, I'm big mad, or I'm sad, or there's something going on. Right? I don't believe in projecting. I do not believe in taking out my frustrations on other people, especially if you're not the cause of whatever it is I'm feeling or whatever it is I'm going through. And even if you are, in most cases, I give people mad chances. And I think that's why so many of my family members, my former family members, because I've cut a lot of people off, as well as my former friends and colleagues and people that I've crossed paths with, would be surprised when I just go cold turkey and wouldn't speak to them ever again, because I had been giving them so many chances, so many opportunities to do right by me, and I'd always just kept it cool and cordial, even when things weren't okay. So I think a lot of people started thinking, okay, we can get away with murder when it comes to her, and she'll just always be a good person towards us, and she'll always be vibey, she'll always be, jovial, etc., etc. Kanti, I'm human at the end of the day, and I do have limits. I do get sick and tired, and I do get to a point where I'm like, okay, enough is enough. And it is not my responsibility. So I do not need to keep telling people, stop doing this. It's not okay. It's not fair. It's indecent. Treat people the way you want to be treated. I feel like And I was talking to my friend just last night or this morning, because we spoke from 12 a.m. until 2 a.m. And we were talking about these things. We covered friendship, family dynamics, etc. And we were just like, people have been getting away with a lot, and they know exactly what they're doing, especially once people are adults. And I've spoken about this, that I've forgiven a lot of people for hurting me when we were still children. But once we're adults, brew, and I've confronted certain things, and I've given you opportunities to change them. I've given you even time, ample time to change those things, and you don't feel the need to do that, and you feel like it's okay. And it's just like, oh, then it's just like, okay, I know where I stand with you. And that's what I've always wanted to know. Like, I don't want blurred lines when it comes to any relationship in Gigyo, yabo. So people always know what they're doing. It's just a matter of poking, pressing every button and trying to see how far they can get with certain people, because there are things that they would never try with certain people. And there are things that they know they wouldn't appreciate if those things were done to them. You get me? So, Nje, yeah, as much as I don't want to be umuntu oshintsha manje aqine or akhombisa ukuthi ngiphethe umoya, because that's not who I am, but I feel like it's something I need to work on. That's probably my toxic trait, ukuthi I always look and come across as though all is well 24/7 365, regardless of whatever it is that's happening in my life, regardless of the fact that even these people know ukuthi like there's heavy shit happening in this person's life. So we need to be, you know, sensitive and loving and supportive and kind. Just lead with kindness. I feel like that ought to be innate, but obviously with time and growth I've realized that that doesn't come naturally. It just comes naturally. Kumina and iphutha lami. And I guess my other toxic trait is expecting kindness, consideration from other people when they're just like, what is that? Loyalty. What is that? You get me? So yeah, I say all this to say, this is my personality. Yes, the topics that are covered in this live are very sensitive, and one would expect me to be like, so one slimana day, kazi izwangula ngahamba ngayodokotela, oh, emtholampilo bangitshela ukuthi, but like, come on now. You know you'd be bored out of your mind, and now myself ngingazibhora. So understand that I'm not taking this lightly. Okay, I'm not taking this topic lightly. This is just who I am, and I know that's what you love about me. That's what everybody loves about me, and that's what the haters hate about me, and that's cool because they fuel me, okay? Because they just can't handle me, and it's like, are you a unicorn? How are you so... Why you roka kanje na? Why you roka kangaka? All right, so I said a giveaway futhi namhlanje, right? Today we're also having a giveaway like the last time. We were supposed to have a 500 rands giveaway, but nobody got the answer correct. Like, why? Why didn't kanje? Nobody got it right. I asked you, which island am I currently on? And you just went in. I told you I'm not in Africa. I told you it was in the PMs during that live, and you just did not get it. Nobody got it. I was in Sanya. I was in Sanya. Cat's out the bag. I'm in a different location now, but today's not about that. Today is about this. Today is about this. What is this? What is this? I want you to tell me what this is, and I will give you, because I feel like this is super easy. Super easy. So I'm going to start with 200. But if I see ukuthi a lot of people are struggling, then ngizoyinyusa. Kuzohamba ngokuthi i-live ihamba kanjani, ama answers enu ngifila kanjani ngawo. So come in, join, hit the like button. Musanungihlatlela amehlo nje kuphela, hit the like button. Ha! But let me just cut ilokhunjane le plastic lena. Take it out of this and nginkombise it properly so you can see what's popping, so you can get a better and clearer view. Ooh. What is this? If you can tell me what this is, if you can give me igama lakhona, the traditional, the original name. Don't try to spice it up. Don't give me the English name. Give me igama lakhona. Okay? That's a like hint. If it went over your head, I am sorry. I said don't give me the English name, give me the traditional name. What is this? I'll give you $200 if you get this right. I swear on my life, I'll give you $200 if you get this right. Njengamanje, or during this live. All right, let's get into the story, baby. Children of a loving heavenly Father. Hi, my sweetheart. Please make sure you hit the like button. Anywho, so let's take it back to when I was 12 years old in grade 7, right? Hey, guys, I was struggling. You hear me? I was struggling. My head would constantly pound. it would just take me to Pound Town, randomly. I'd feel dizzy all the time, and I was just nauseous. Always nauseous, especially if I'd stand in a queue or in a line for a really long time, or wherever nje. If ngimi isikhathi eside, I'd feel really, really nauseous or nauseous, as my other subscribers would say, because Pella, we're international, so we gotta cater to everybody. So when I say nauseous, I also mean nauseous. Different strokes for different folks. Potato, right? So I'd always feel super nauseous, especially after standing for a while. I'd be super dizzy, I'd feel lightheaded, and I would have like this super pounding, super painful headache. And this started, remember, in grade 7. And I remember telling my mom, and she'd take me to different doctors, right? And they all wouldn't see what the issue is. So one slimanyana day, hey guys, let me not even get to that. So they'd always give me pills, yabo, tablets, imithi, and they'd just be like, maybe I'm a hormonal changes. Over time, you'll be all right, because we really don't see what the problem is. You're super healthy, yabo. So this went on for a while, to a point where I was just like, surely you nje onale condition, even though I don't know what the name of the condition is, but surely nje i-condition yami nje yala emhlabeni into yami ethi mina ukuthi mina angikwazi ukuma isikhathi eside ngoba ngiyadiyazela, ngiphathwe isiyezi, ngiphathwe ikhanda nje, ngi-weird ngaleyo sense, but ke I'll take it because it's not as deep as ezinye igulo. You get me? Please hit the like button, guys, when you come in. Also, let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. I've noticed that sometimes lives mute themselves, like automatically, spontaneously, and I'm just like, what happened? Yeah, well, please let me know if you can hear me, because Aksi is wooting long beuza for sweet nothing. So yeah, and I just accepted, and I was like, shuti skulo sam lesi, this is my illness. So it went on and on and on and on and on, and it got worse over the years, yeah, until I got to uni. So, boom, I'm 18 years old now, first year uni, right? Now it's super intense. And you know, in uni, bro, plus when you're first year, there's so much going on. Plus, I took on so many modules. Like, I had so many modules because I was trying to branch into so many different things, and I wanted to get them done all in 1 year or in the space of 2 years, so that by the time ngithi third year, ngiyazi ukuthi ngizoba nama majors amaningi, engizothi mase ngithi honors ngibe nje, yabo, nama options ayinqwaba yokuthi ngenza ama honors ahlukahlukene. And that's exactly what happened. So keep pushing. Skolo, it's the thing. Anywho, so I did my thing, okay? But also it was hindering productivity, man, because I was always ill. And as a first year student, especially with so many modules, you have to go from one lecture hall to the other, one campus to the other, yabo? So then walk is that would just, it was too much for me. So I was just like, this is affecting my day-to-day functioning, so I need to do something about it. Clearly, this is not some hormonal thing. Like, this is deep, yabo? And previously, doctors had said, as in kula, kuzo subsida, but like, it keeps getting worse. So what is the issue? I started being super worried about it. So June, July, holidays come, ne? I go back home and I tell my mom, because I didn't want to tell her, I didn't want to worry her. So I tell my mom, yabo lento yami yokuba nauseous iya ngokuya iba worse. Yabona ke manje angisakwazi ngisho ukufunctiona, angisakwazi ngisho kuye emdunusweni ngiyochiphira. Actually, to be honest with you, makwisikhathi sokudunusa, shothi kahle kahle umdunuso, umsantuzo nombenuzo have always been my calling, because makwisikhathi sokuthi ngidunuse, bengidunusa and I'd have the time of my life. Ngibenuze Bruce ifike club ngo 80, hambe ngo 5, ngo 6, ngo 8 ekuseni, you get me? Like, ngidunuse ngibe nawo wonke amandla. But when it's time to be productive, time to move from one lecture hall to the other, from one campus to the other, stand in a queue, stand and attend to things for a while, I struggled, yabo? So then I told Uma, day-to-day functioning yami is being affected by this illness of mine, this unknown illness, and I can't deal. We need to do something about it. Mom said, oh my goodness, say less. I wish you had told me sooner, because this is so serious. How did you manage to get through, yabo? The first semester? And I was like, hey man, I'm a beast, You gave birth to a monster. You did what you done, baby. Well, show you nasty see. You get me? So yeah, but ngikhathele ukubekezelela leyo nto, especially because ayikho normal and nobody knows ukuthi yini engiphethe. So sengifuna ukwazi amaqiniso ke manje akusahlekisi. So mom's like, say less. Tomorrow morning we're heading to our family doctor. I've been taking you to various doctors and bonke bebengabona ukuthi yini inkinga. So now I'm going to take you to udokotela, the real McCoy, the best doctor there is. This is our family doctor. Lapho masufike lapho usufike kwangqingetshe. Please note that if I say something in vernac, I will say it again in English, so you won't be missing out on anything. I always make it a point to cater to all my people, my sugar binga boongas. So yeah, and then she was like, okay, let's go to doctor, let's call him Miserable, because his surname kind of sounds like the word miserable. So my mom's like, I'm taking you to Kokovula Ungringeche J final boss. Ne? We are dokotela, because naganjani, he's gonna know what the issue is and he's gonna make sure ukuthi uksetsa straight. When you go back to uni, uzobe you get me? The next morning comes, Supermom and I head to the doctor. We go to Dr. Miserable. Dr. Miserable is such a big deal. Everybody rates him. He's like the ish in Durban, right? So his office or the reception area is packed. Everybody's trying to see him, yabo? Everybody's coming to him, and I'm just like, okay, shuti lo dokotela uyilento le abati uyon. Right? He's a big deal. He's a big story. I trust him. My issues, my unknown illness will get sorted. Njengamanje. Mom and I get there, siyahlala ku reception, sibhalise kwenze yonke into. We sit there for like 3 hours. You get me? Because that's how packed it was. 3 whole hours waiting for this dokotela mbumbulo oyiboza oyigongo okhokovula. Sharp, it's my turn now. Every single time till this day, it's a bit different now because my husband's in the picture, but like my mom's always involved, yabo. So whenever we go to the doctor's office or anything is serious nje, ngihamba noma. Till this day, sisonke, now sibathathu. So my mom's entering the doctor's office with me, yabo. So they call me, my mom goes in there with me. We have nothing to hide. I have nothing to hide from my mom. Gazazi ngingane emsulwa, angikaze ngenze lutho ethe phecelezi, and umzali wami fanele azi yonke into vele yenzeka empilweni yami the very same way ngazi yonke into yenzeka empilweni yakhe. Right? That's why when people say, kunemfihlo nje engazazi, I'm just like, there's nothing I don't know about my mom. There's nothing I don't know about my mom. So like, if there's an issue, talk. Icace ukuthi yini issue, because you're not gonna evade irresponsibility nama consequences of ama actions akho mawubuza ukuthi yini inkinga yakho uthi kunemfihlo engikwazi ukuyikhipha. Like, shut up. But anywho, I digress. So yeah, they call me into the doctor's office. Siyangena Noma, and then the doctor's like, so young lady, tell me what's pattern. And I break it down to him. I'm like, since I was 12, bro, probably way before ngibe na 12, ukuthi ngaqala kuyinaga sengina 12 because ngangisengisile yabo. But nje, since I was 12, I've had this issue yokuthi ngivele nje ngibe super nauseous. I don't know ukuthi kudalwa yini, regardless of nje diet yami ukuthi iyaroka, ngiyazinakekela, nje anginama issues, angina stress, nje I just get super nauseous and super dizzy. I have like crazy headaches and I don't understand what it is. I've visited multiple doctors. Nobody seems to be able to figure out what the issue is. All they do is give me tablets and they just recommend ukuthi nje ngirelaxe, ngingastresi, as if like ubani ongastress empilweni enjena emahluphi kangaka, especially my childhood was insane. I had no business going through the things that I went through throughout my childhood. Yabo? But yeah, so obviously stress izinto ezenzeka ekhaya endlini, izinto ezenzeka ngaphandle, girls bullying you for simply existing. Yabo? Abantu abadala bafuna ukuruinisha future yakho. Eskoleni kushubile kunomsebenzi omningi, you have so many responsibilities because you're the head girl, you're the deputy head girl, you're the prefect, you're a monitor, you nje kubusy kuningi, yabo. So obviously stress nje the minute bethu you start lifing, and I think that's why the minute ingane iphuma eswini zikhabala because it's like how am I sengilana umshubo ongaka, I have to do this life thing as nama challenges nama adversities amangaka, yabo. So the minute nje uthatha your first breath, ziyasha la emhlabeni. So anyway, they were like, just nje limit stress sakho, calm it down, nje. This might be hormonal, and with age, with time, it'll subside. And it didn't. So here I am. So the doctor's like, sounds quite serious. Obviously, umangqengqeza lona ungqongqoshe, top doggy, final boss, and he's saying it sounds serious. This condition of yours, this unknown illness of yours, sounds really deep. That shook me. That scared me. So I look at my mom and she's looking at me and she's freaking out. Yabo? So obviously the next question is, are you sexually active? Sexually active? Mina kanjani? Gihlangana naleyo nto. Like, I'm just a child. I'm just a girl. But not only that, I'm just a child. I'm only 18. Ngazini ngebebsi, ngazini ngeshakushaku, ngazini ngefukufuku, ngazini ngetlof, ngazini ngomdavazo brew. Like, what do you mean? How dare you ask me that question in front of my mom, nogal? Yabo? So I'm just like, no. And he's like, I feel like we're gonna need to take a urine sample and test your urine because direction ihamba ngayo lento angiyitholi kahle. Obviously, and at the time angithi ngingani, I'm 18 years old, and when you go to the doctor, you're expecting answers. And when you go to a doctor that is deemed as iboza, the best one, the best doctor on the planet, easy, you're just like, surely lo muntu ngobuhlakani bakhe the knowledge anayo has figured out ukuthi ngiphethwe yini, and now I'm scared because he's saying it's deep, it's intense, it's scary. Yabo? And I feel like that was rather unprofessional. But if you think that is unprofessional or that was unprofessional, baby, I've got news for you. There's more. And I was just like, why would you scare ingane no mama kanjalo? Like, the best he could have done was like, okay, I might have an idea of what's happening here, but to confirm and be certain, let's take a urine sample of yours. Yabo? Manje, hey, that sounds scary. That sounds deep. That sounds so intense. I'm worried about the outcome. I'm worried about the results. Bro, what am I supposed to do? Utsingenze njani? You get me? So yeah, he says that and we're panicking. Man, just no ma. We look at each other and we're just like, what could it be? Yabo? But we're just like, let the doctor do his job. He gives me that teeny weeny cup to piss in. Ew, that sounds so gross. But yeah, language to brew. And I don't understand why we need to sugarcoat and filter and censor ulimletu because lu ra for abanyabantu or for even tina. Yeah, what indoctrination, guys? Indoctrination is bule. But anyway, I urinate in that cup. And then he takes my cup, tests it. Comes back, ne? And he's like, okay, your results will take a couple of days. So for now, just relax. Don't stress. Relax, don't stress. And you just told me, Uguti, you're worried about my results. And whatever it is that I'm suffering from sounds scary, deep, intense. Yabo? Already. But I'm like, Yazin, let me just calm down. Because it might not be lento aikabangayo nai. But at the same time, I'm like, it can't not be what he's thinking it is. Because he's a doctor. And he's been a doctor, like, for years. Yabo? Ancestor, fossil vibes, you get me? So he knew umsebenzi wakhe, he understood umsebenzi wakhe, and ezinye izinto beyidiagnose even ngamehlo. So I was just like, this guy knows exactly what he's talking about, and I'm so worried, I'm so scared. I feel like he's already diagnosed me, but he's scared to tell me, or he's scared to tell me in front of my mom because it's something huge, something major, and yeah, useyazulisa, uyadrayisa manje. So it was just like, this is going to take a couple of days. In the meantime, take it easy. Don't stress, don't worry. And if there's anything I pick up immediately, I'll be in touch. But chances are, come through, angifuni ukuthi utatazele. But makuwukuthi immediately kunento evelayo ethusayo uzozwa ngami. I'm like, yo, So makukhona into evelayo nje engathi shu encane or kungenankinga uzongitshela izinsuku ezithize engingangena ngazo ngizothatha ama results ami ungichazela ukuthi aqonda ukuthini. But makushubile immediately uzobuyela kumina. Yes sis. So now I'm praying ukuthi I do not get that phone call, and eventually nje he's just like ngosuku olukuthi come through yabo. Lapho ngiyazi ukuthi who, as opposed to a phone call from the doctor, because that means yaqala ifilm. So we're like, okay, sizozwa ngawe ke dokotela. We up and leave sinoma. As we're heading out, baby, I'm a coax. I ask Gijima behind us. There's someone running after us. Meseti, excuse me. It's like, hi. One of the nurses stops us in our tracks and says, the doctor would like to see you in his office immediately. Sinoma, we're like, this man just said if he picks anything up immediately, uzokwenza sure ukuthi siyazi manje. But if he reaches out to us in a couple of days and he's just like, oh, you can come in anytime, ngosuku olukuthi, then we have nothing to worry about. So the fact that someone is running after us and calling us back into his office means ukuthi ijumpile. Like my life is over. Yo. We head back into the doctor's office. Hi, Zora Holdings, my darling. How you doing? I hope you're having a good day because I'm having the time of my life. Anywho, so we rush back into the doctor's office. Sit down. Oh, before we even sat down. Hey, guys. Yo, miserable. My husband keeps saying we should have sued. Can we still sue? I think we still could. But hey man, angazi, you tell me ukuthi kwakufanele sihandlishe kanjani leyo situation and manje singenze njani ngayo. So we head back in. The doctor's right there looking super worried, and he's just like, I think you need to sit down for this one. Udokotela wonke, an entire doctor is telling us to sit down for this one. What could it possibly be? What could this one possibly be? What does this mean? Yabo? So we sit down, we look at each other. My mom is freaking out. Already nje atmosphere sishinchile. My mom was just like, how am I? Nami, I'm worried. And I'm thinking in my mom's head at the time, she was just like, hamba. At the same time, I need to be there for her. I need to support her. I need to make sure she's okay. But Nami, this is scary for me. This is painful for me because I now need to show up not only as a mom, but also as her nurse, her support system, as yonke into azoyidinga based on a condition or illness anayo. Oh my goodness, what now? Yabo? She was freaking out. A lot was going through her mind and I could tell. But at the same time, I'm worried about myself. I'm also worried about what my mom might find out about my health. Yabo? Because I'm thinking, she's probably thinking, Lengan is been, shishaliza ringayo, yabo? She's thinking, I've been laying it low and spreading it wide open and I'm shocking, yabo? And this is not to say that anyone who has any sort of chronic illness has been laying it low and spreading it wide open. No. But at the time, those were our thoughts. And also, a lot of people still have ama thoughts akanjalo pertaining to HIV and AIDS and other illnesses, yabo? And it's sad. That's why it's so important to educate other people when you know better. And it's important for other people to take the initiative to educate themselves, So I'm like, oh, ma, why Bizwalana? What's happening? Surely this is it, yabo? My life is over. So the doctor's like, we picked up something from your urine sample. I'm like, what could that possibly be? What could that possibly be, Dr. Miserable? Dr. Miserable says, you have a whole lot of white blood cells passing through your urine, and it's abnormal. It is abnormal. So it's either we need to run another test or we need to take your blood samples, because it's giving HIV and AIDS. And it's like, what do you mean? Yabo? And he's like, no, the manner in which the white blood cells are passing through your urine samples is abnormal. Number one. Number two, maningi kakul, there are too many white white blood cells rather, in your urine. And I usually see this when I'm dealing with patients who are at the AIDS stage. Hayibo, kanjani manje? Kanjani? And my mom's just like, when, how, why? Yabo? Nami, I'm like, when, how, why? Like, mina, kanjani? Yabo? And this is, a lot of people think like this. Things like that would never affect me. I could never get that. And they do as they please. They don't protect themselves. They expose themselves via needles. You name it. Yabo? And they're just like, hey, inabantu bayo lento angihlangani nayo, which is very sad, which is very unfortunate because it could happen to any and everyone. So it's important for us to educate ourselves and to protect ourselves. So, and he was like, yeah, we need to take your bloods because it's giving AIDS. It's giving AIDS, but also there are chances of ukutune cancer. It's also giving cancer. I need to figure out which one though. Hold on. You just told an 18-year-old without testing her blood work, ne? Uguti, chances are she has HIV, but chances are it's actually progressed to the AIDS stage. Secondly, chances are she has cancer. You just don't know which one. You need to figure that out. So you're going to send in a nurse to take her blood samples, and then you're going to figure out the way forward from there. I'm like, since when, bro? Actually, not abafana baselokishini kuphela, like abafana jikelele. Like, have you noticed how men have this tendency of saying, yo, wena, ufresh kangaka, umuntu wesikuni, surely awuguli. You get me? Or, ay, lona, uxhwalile, umaharaspense, uyagula. How? Wasencipha kangaka usibanibani? Uyagula. Why have you lost so much weight? What's that on your skin? Why do you look like that? Surely you have some sort of disease. Oh, you look too sexy, too fine, too fresh, too bootylicious. Surely you're healthy. You're so voluptuous. Surely there's no disease there. Like, men have a tendency of doing that. Most men, not all. Yabo? And so I was just like, hey, look, don't tell us to diagnose on amehlo. And I'm a diagnoses are so deep, so life-changing. So what do you mean? Yabo? So I am freaking out. My heart is beating like an out-of-control drum. My heart is beating in my anus. My tummy is in knots. I'm a tumbu. My intestines are twisting and turning. I'm just like, this is it. This is the end for me. I never thought it would end this way. I had such a bright future ahead of me. Yabo? So the minute he walks out to call the nurse in, yabo, my mom is like, because my mom was just like, she was upset. She was rather upset and very uncomfortable with the manner in which he delivered that. It was very callous, very cold, very nonchalant, and very unprofessional. How do you just say that without having tested the blood of the person, the patient? And on top of that, ukhuluma nengane, bro, and you're just badlazarin, you know? Yabo? So my mom follows him on some, I don't feel like that was professional. Like, you can't just diagnose by looking at someone and just, boom, drop such bombs on them. Bombs, bro, like heavy, hectic bombs on them pertaining to HIV and AIDS and cancer. And then walk out of there and be like, okay, to confirm whether my suspicions, my assumptions, my thoughts are right, let me send in a nurse. Not to go to, I'm a bit worried about, yabo, the white blood cells that are passing through your urine. It's a bit abnormal, but I'm thinking we ought to take a blood sample of yours, check it out, and I'll get back to you. In the meantime, hang in there. Make sure you don't stress out. I'll let you know once I'm certain. I feel like every doctor ought to operate that way. And you're taught, you're trained to operate that way. You know? How dare you drop such bombs on someone and just leave them right there? Information. No counseling has been done. It's just, hey, I think this might be it. And yeah, I'm going to test you, but good luck because I feel like it is what it is. Doctor walks out to call the nurse in order for the nurse to take my blood samples, right? Mom follows him to be on some, that's not how it's done. That's not okay. That's unprofessional. While I'm hearing my mom and the doctor talking just outside the door. Me, now what's going on through my mind? My life is over. And that's exactly what goes on in the minds of people who get diagnosed with various chronic illnesses. It's just like, hey man, it's the end of the world. And most of the time they try to unalive themselves. So what am I thinking? An 18-year-old with HIV, AIDS, and cancer? It's, come on, it's chai for me. Gisenzani emhlabeni. Gisenzani. So the first image, if you get kandalam, is I'm going to end up like 50 Cent. Have you seen that movie? Well, not... movie, so asking you if you've seen it is quite tricky. But like, if you know of that picture went viral, but the movie wasn't watched by many. Of 50 Cent. 50 Cent is lying in a hospital bed looking crazy, looking like, yeah, no. He's holding on for dear life. That picture. So that picture comes into my mind. I'm like, I'm going to look like 50 Cent on his deathbed. Mina. After ngenze yonke into right, I've walked a path mfethu ngenza sure ukuthi ngilalela imiyalo yabazali, ngiyafunda, ngi-ambitious, ngi-goal driven. Why would this happen to me? And why would I just stomach it and carry on living? Vele my life is over, yabo? Ngicabanga abantu abagray, ngicabanga abantu abaphephezele inywele njengoNkosi Johnson engathi ba-relaxile, ngicabanga abantu abanganamandla. Because that is the image that was put into our heads, engraved into our heads, ukuthi ubanjalo mawugula, which is so sad because it's not the end of the world, number one, that's for sure. A lot of people have outlived even abantu aba healthy, abebegula, yabo? A lot of people abebegula have outlived abantu abebe healthy, or abantu who didn't even know their statuses. So yeah, and also like in Impili Yaqhubeka, you can still have a bright future, a happy family, still be super healthy, etc., etc. And kungenzeka ngafiki to a point mawinakekela, and if you take your meds properly, it might get to a point, it'll never get to a point where you look like, you know, 50 Cent. But yeah, mina ngicabanga ngicothoza, ngiyothenga ama-fruits namahewu, or yabo nje ngihambe ngathi nginyele. That's the image. So unfortunate, so sad. And I'm educating you, Guti, that isn't always the case if you take care of yourself and if you take your meds properly. So that image pops into my mind and I'm like, I'm chucking up the deuces because that's not going to be me. That is not my portion. That is not my story. Bye. We're on the 20th floor. Okay? I need you to understand that we're on the 20th floor. Iwendi is right next to me. I'm a burglar guards. Nothing. I'm like, this is a sign. Uguti, no, I need to jump. I need to unalive myself. I need to shuck because I'm not living with these diseases. Ain't no way. Ain't no effing way. Future. As I was just about to open the window and jump in order to unalive myself, the male doctor walks in and he's like, someone says, I'm like, yebunjani, getting a pila. Ati, kwenza jani lapha ewendi, ngithi no ngiyashisela, like ngiyashisela because lezi indaba lezi zingishaqile. Ngithukile, I'm feeling hot, I'm feeling nervous, I'm anxious, so I just wanted to open the window. I'm lying. I wanted to jump out the window and unalive myself because there was no way. There was no way I was going to live with AIDS and cancer. Like, no ways. So yeah, he walks in and it's just like, hi, bo, calm down. Uzobarai. And if it weren't, I swear on my life, if it weren't for that male nurse, shout out to him. I wish I had asked Utubanika Malaki because had I asked, Ngabe namanje ngiyalukhumbula, and he'd be getting the shout out that he deserves. So I was just like, yeah, he was like, hi, bo, sisi, calm down. Uzobarai, kelo. Hlala, let me take your bloods. Don't worry about it. Thank God for him, because if it weren't for him, I swear I would have ended it. So he takes my bloods and he walks out and he's like, don't even stress. I'm not even going to wish you luck because I know you're fine. It's like, oh, that's how it's done. But at the time, I'm just like, ngiyabonga, I'm feeling better. But at the same time, kusazotestwa. So I don't know. excuse me, ukuthi mphumela izothini. I don't know what the outcome or the results will tell me. So then he walks out, and yeah, my mom comes in, and she's just like, yo, I am so upset. How dare he? And I was like, actually, I didn't even tell her. I feel like it's the first time she's gonna hear this. Uguti. At the time, I was thinking of unaliving myself because I was just like, no ways. And I know so many people would be happy if something that unfortunate, something that painful were to happen to me. So I was just like, I might as well jump. But I didn't tell my mom. I was just sitting there calmly, thanks to that male nurse. And she walked in and she was like, I'm upset. He shouldn't have delivered that message like that. He shouldn't have broken the news like that. And it's not even the news because the results aren't even out yet. So that was very unprofessional. That was very cold. I'm not happy with that. Yabo? And I was like, I'm not happy either because he freaked me out. I was about to end it all. Deep down, that's what I'm saying. But to my mom, I'm like, I'm not happy either. I'm scared. I'm anxious. I'm super freaked out, and I don't understand why such things would happen to me. So yeah, my mom and I walk out of there. On our way home, brew, tense. It's uncomfortable. It's orcs because we're both just like, yikes. In 2 weeks, we will know Uguti was popping. We will know whether kuphelile ngami or not, you know? So we're just quiet, super quiet. You could hear the silence. It was so loud. The silence was mad loud. You could cut it with a knife. Indlela thick. Silence. We get home. And as we're walking through the gates, I'm like, what would you do? Like, how would you feel, and what would you do if I were to actually be HIV positive or like suffering from ingulaza, AIDS, manje, and also if you make cancer? And she was just like, oh, calm down, my baby. But I could see she was freaking out, but she had to be strong for me, you know? And she was like, hey, man, we'll take it one step at a time. I don't want you to start thinking that far because the results aren't out yet. I need you to relax. I need you to not stress yourself. I need you to live your life. You're young. You have a bright future ahead of you. I believe in you. But also, I'm always here for you. So if the results do come out positive for AIDS, HIV and AIDS, or cancer, or both, I'm here for you. I'll take you to the best doctors. I'll take care of you. A lot of things will need to change, obviously, but I'm here for you. And I'll make sure your life ibamnandi still. Yeah, well, I was just like, oh man, shout out Supermom. Shout out to you. This is why I fight so hard for you, because I'm fundu tongawe. You're literally an angel. You're the best thing to ever happen to me, but not only to me, to the world at large. I'm fungawe. You deserve your credit. You deserve your flowers. You deserve umqhele wakho while you're still alive. Angifune umuntu mina ozolwe sangana la ebhuquzisa phansi exabalasa banga ihlama nesicefe mhla uma eshona, but ehluleke ukumkhombisa uthando esaphila. Cela nje ningasmarket, guys. Like, and my husband and I always say this. Hey guys, once limanyana day, one of us uzoshona. And with everything that's happened in our lives and all the things that people have done to us, people so close to us, people we love so dearly have done to us, if at any point, and this is one of the reasons why I film all these videos and I share all my experiences, if at any point these people bafike emngcwabeni yethu baqabalase babhuquze bahayize benze ngathi bebesithanda besikhathalele, ngicela nibaphoxe, please side eye them, because that is not genuine. Baya actor. So nje mina nazi ukuthi kowami umngcwabo, my mom, my husband, my in-laws, my sister uze Mfundo, and my other sister uzibuyile, as well as my nieces and nephews, are the only people, Noxolo, Ongo, Osfundo, neyingane ezincane, are the only people abanegunya bra. The only people abanegunya lokubhuquza bakhale baxabalase bathi hawe masilahlekelwe. Anyone else, we are actor. People have shown me their butts, okay? People have shown me their asses. Bangiphethulela izinqa ngabona, even ama inside ngabona amathumbu abo. So nje, please, asingamakethani. Anywho, shout out to Supermom, and I feel like I'm happy for you if you have that solid support system in your life and you're going through whatever it is you're going through, but particularly struggling with chronic illnesses. Yabo, it's a need. And a lot of people end up meeting their demise sooner than they should because they don't have that support system, because they live in a society that constantly judges them, laughs at them, etc., etc. So I feel like we need to learn compassion, kindness, because clearly it doesn't come naturally kwabanye abantu. Hi, Ritepile Apane. Hi, you look like Mrs. Mops. I love Mrs. Mops. That's my big sis. I love her so, so much. Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. So yeah, that's what happened. So, and my mom's like, I got you, my baby, I got you. And yaphela kanjalo ke indaba on that day. So that whole day until the evening, I was just stressing, panicking, super worried, thinking about this, thinking about the outcome, thinking about my life completely changing, thinking about different ways to off myself. I remember this other episode. Yeah, angisakhumbula noma kwakuyi Soul City or whatnot, but listen to zakudala. No, it wasn't Soul City because ngaleso sikhathi ayisikade yaphela, but something, man, some TV program yayikhombisa the easiest way to off yourself. And I was just like, and there were two chemicals. I'm not going to mention them because I know siphila nabantu who are going through a lot and they might take this and use this, and I don't want you to lose your life at my hands. Yabo? So there are two chemicals in particular, and I had access to them, especially at uni with the fields that I was in. And I was just like, like sorted. If the results come back positive, giyazicisha. Ain't no way, yabo. So yeah, 2 weeks go by, and I'm just like, okay, kumnander, because the doctor said, if anything pops up, I'm calling you immediately. But kwadlula 2 weeks, you can call me, or I'll call you and I'll tell you, come in on usuku oluwukuthi. Yabo, lapho you know ukuthi akuyona 2 weeks go by. No phone call, no nothing. So mom and I decide, let's go back. My mom and I go back to the doctor's office and we're like, we're back for our results. You had said, Uti, you're suspecting that my daughter has AIDS or cancer, or AIDS and cancer. This is my mom speaking to Dr. Miserable. And the doctor's like, oh, I remember you. Ahambe, I would tell my results, and he's like, everything is fine. I also feel like it's hormonal changes. She undergoes a lot of stress. She does a lot already, because he knew I was in uni and I was taking on, because kwaba small talk the minute I walked into the office, and it was like, what's happening, young lady? Yabo? And I was just like, yeah, there's a lot happening and I'm struggling at uni. And I was like, what modules, yabo, are you taking, or what are you majoring in? And we spoke about that. And I was like, that's amazing. But hey, man, that's a lot to take on. All the best, yabo. So when he spoke to us, Sisol and Dama results 2 weeks later, he was just like, I feel like she's just got a lot going on in her life, and she's too young to be taking on so much stress, and I'm sure she puts herself under so much pressure. I need to pass on my modules. I need to make sure I major in multiple things when I get to yabo ama levels athe ukuthi xaxa. And on top of that nje uyakhula lo muntu, and she's from Durban, she's moved to Pretoria, yabo kuyashintsha iweather nani nezinto eziningi afanele ayijwayele. There are a lot of changes even socially, yabo adlula kuwona, different friends, different people from different parts of life, cultural backgrounds, etc. And uphuma la ukusarandwa omageba and nje other races, but they're not all up in her face. La, she's meeting abantu and she's interacting with them. So naloko kunestress sakhona, and I'm just like, my goodness, you could have just said that. You could have just said that from the get-go. You could have been like, hey man, the white blood cells that I'm seeing in your urine are quite abnormal, but like chances are it's because you're under a lot of stress. There's a lot you're facing. You're undertaking so many things and you're so young, and nje kunama changes even in the environment and the atmosphere. So obviously that's gonna weigh on you, and it's gonna manifest physically, even though kwenzeka internally. Listen, do you feel like internally? That time umuntu said, hey, you have AIDS and cancer. And so my mom and I walk out of there and we're just like, this man is insane. How could you? Now I'm thinking to myself, how many people has he unalived indirectly? Because remember, I was thinking of unaliving myself. I was thinking of jumping out of that window on the 20th floor. How many people has he unalived? I mean, I was saved by that angel, that male nurse. But how many people walked out of there and unalived themselves because he had said, Unalento wena. I'm certain you have AIDS. I'm certain you have cancer. I'm certain you have diabetes. I'm certain. But I just need to confirm. But yeah, ijampili. It's chai. It's late for you. How many people have offed themselves? Guess booze. You get me? So that was really, really heart-wrenching, disgusting, unprofessional. And I really hope he's not practicing anymore. I really hope something happened and his license got revoked or some shit. Because that was disgusting. I want you to tell me how you would have dealt with that situation. And if you feel like there's something I ought to do manje in order to deal with that, that's if he's still alive. He was a fossil at the time and I was 18. Yeah, bro. If he's still alive, something's got to give, I feel like. And if he's still practicing, it's so unfair to inwaba yabantu, because if someone is set in their ways, kanjeyana, so many years ago, you can imagine with time it got worse, and he was just like, we don't even need to test you. I can just diagnose you just by looking at you. Diabetes win, cancer win, you have this, you have that, so it's late for you. Oh man, oh well, sorry, see you. Ha! Whew. I say this, nje singvala, guys, bodokotela, especially you guys whom we deem as our superheroes, bro, our angels, our lifesavers. Please be more mindful, be more demure, be more cognizant of the things that you say to your patients. Be more professional. More than anything, you're trained for this. Be more professional. Don't just badaza. Don't just drop a huge bomb on a patient or your patients and just expect life to just go on, because you're crushing that person. Umbulala epila. You're unaliving that person. So please do better. Do better. Hit me up in the comment section. Or what you think I could still do. Remember, it's giveaway day. I asked you, what is this? Give me the traditional name, the common name for this, and I'll send you $200. Nobody has answered yet. I'll up it even. Let's make it $300. I think this is super, super easy. And angifuni ukuthi ngize nginike any hint, because you'll just Google it and you'll get it. Kanti you need to work. You gotta work, B. You want a hot buddy? You want $300? You gotta work, B. I'll be having loads more of these, so stay tuned. Ningene kuma lives. Ni like, ningabi ama qogi, ningabi ama pickle, ningabi ama monitoring spirits nama evil eyes who just come to watch. Ninga like, ninga comment, bukan ningkhulumisa ngedwa. Ninjani ka DJ Dira? Shout out to Children of a Loving Heavenly Father. Shout out to Zora Holdings. Shout out to Ritipile Apane. Thank you for interacting. Kwenza kube mnandi, maningabeyazi umuntu uyahlanya ukhuluma yedwa. Anywho, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be back with another banger. I might come back in a couple of minutes. I might come back tomorrow. Angazi kwasiba. So depend on mood yami. So depend on ukuthi ama likes ayanyuka yini. I'll wait. Okay. All right, I see you, boo. Ngizobona ukuthi ngenze njani, but for now, toodle-doo.